Hello and good morning to you, or I suppose I should probably say good afternoon. I usually like to film my videos in the morning, but time has sort of gotten away from me this morning. You'll see that might be a theme in this month because today I wanted to finally take you on a little walkthrough of October in my journal. As I'm filming this, it is nearing mid-November, but I thought I would love to share these pages with you anyway, even if it's a couple weeks later than intended, and hopefully you'll see some of why I was a bit delayed this month. So let's go ahead and dive right into it because I'm very excited to show you some of the updates we have for October. This is my calendar page where I will usually write in my commitments for the month that are coming up, and then as the month progresses, I will add either little decorations from my stash or bits of ephemera. I got some chocolate this week, stickers from our fast food bags, little cutouts, little Halloween stickers. So this is sort of an overview of my October. And then let's get into the weekly pages. I believe, yes, this is the beginning of October. Just some more stickers, more ephemera. I really tried this month to get more into reusing junk or garbage as ephemera. Like this is a little cutout from a chocolate bar that I had gotten. Let's see if there's anything else. Oh, there is quite a bit of ephemera on this spread. I started using a new wallet, so I cut out a little bit from the packaging on that. Got some thrift store tags. The little sticker that they put on gift cards. I had finished up a gift card, so I stuck that in here. I started using some magazine cutouts this month. You'll see a few of those just because I had some spare magazines lying around and I figured I would put them to good use here. I cut out some pumpkins from an ad that we got in the mail, and I cut out, these are from a brochure that you'll see a bit more of in a little bit. But yeah, lots of stickers, but also lots of just junk that I wanted to reuse. This week was a little busy, so you'll see it's a little bit more sparse. If you've been around or if you noticed, I usually use my weekly pages as to-do lists. And we've still got some to-do lists here, but this week we actually took in a foster dog. So while she was getting settled in, I was not getting a whole lot else done other than just trying to keep up with her. And you will hear quite a bit more about that once we get to our daily pages, but I just added in like a puppy sticker for going and meeting her, a little bit of a tag from the dog bed we were using for her, just some little stickers. I played some video games that night, so I put this in here. When I'm able to, I love to kind of coordinate the ephemera that I use to decorate a day with the things that were happening that day so that you can flip back through and I can go, oh, that was the day that we picked up the dog. That was a night that I was playing video games. I don't know. I think that's fun to be able to look back and kind of get a good overview of the week. This is another pretty sparse week. I, at this point, was kind of just trying to get by, so I have whatever ephemera I threw in there, but I think I would like to go back in and fill in some of this empty space just because there's not a whole lot going on this page, but we do what we can to survive. And then here's the end of October. We had some friends coming to visit this week, so lots of to-do lists of like house tasks to make sure that was all taken care of. And that's it for the weeklies, just chugging along with my to-do lists and adding in little bits of decoration where I can. And then that takes us right to our daily pages. We've got the October cover page that we decorated together in the last Hobonichi video. And then on this first day, on the opposite side of the spread, I didn't really want to do anything too fancy because this was already a lot. So I just added in a sticker from the breakfast that we got, the little stickers that they put on the takeout containers. And then I added a little stamp that it's gotten a little, smudged from being on this like sticker paper, but that is okay. And I continued on with my formula of using the left column as my daily log, just an overview of what happened during the day, and then on this right column, I just kind of pick something to write about, something to kind of get the thoughts out of my head. And on this day, I was thinking about my future journaling, which I know it's a shocker, but I was kind of writing down what kind of system I'm leaning toward as I wrap up this book at the end of the year. Let's see, we have the Life of a Showgirl release day. So the day before, I wrote some track predictions because I was very excited for this album to come out. I didn't have room for all of the tracks, but I just wrote out a bit of what I was expecting from some of the songs. And then on release day, I could not believe the stickers that I had for this little like recording studio that's the exact colors of the album, and this little radio in orange too. Oh my gosh. I am so happy with the stickers I was able to find just in my stash. That was very exciting. So I wrote my review, my first thoughts, and I included just a little ranking of the songs just because I know with every new album that I listen to, the things that I like at the beginning very much shift after I've been listening to it for a while. So I thought that would be fun to look back on. On this spread, I had this magazine cutout of like bobbing for apples that I thought was so cute. So I wanted to stick that in here because just a few days before I had gone apple picking. So I was still working through my apples. It felt very, very autumnal. And I carried those colors over onto this side of the page as well with this like record player since I was still listening to my new music, and the colors just worked out so nicely. And then I also, from this same magazine page, had a little excerpt from the article that it came with, all about childhood autumn and all of the fun things in autumn for children. And then it also ends with the author saying, "It's when I started my diary every year." And I recalled, I usually as a child would start up journaling again either in summer or in fall. So I thought it would be fun to jump back through some of my old diaries and see what was going on October 4th in all of the years past, it was really fun to look back on and see the progression throughout the years. It was just fun to look back on one particular day over the years. I know a lot of people will do the like 5-year journals where you can have that all on the same page. I commend you. I do not have the energy to keep up another journal, but this was a fun way to kind of get the same excitement out of that, just to look back on previous years without having to keep up multiple journals to be able to do that. And then we got some blank space on the journaling side over here just because things get busy sometimes. This spread was fun. My mom and I had just been going through her basement, and we found this old like coffee tin full of my dad's old things. He was very much a nostalgic and a collector, just like me. But we found these cereal box stickers from the 70s and these Bazooka Joe like bubblegum wrapper comics. So I thought I would incorporate his collection into my journal a little bit. I decided not to be too precious about them because there were duplicates. There were a few other stickers and several other wrapper comics. And I did use, here, I can show you. I used photo corners so that this can be pulled out just so that I didn't glue directly onto this old collector's item. But since they were things that we just kind of found in the basement and didn't even fully realize that he had ever had or saved, I didn't feel the need to hang on to them too tightly as some kind of memory because it was just a fun little surprise to find. So I do have some that I saved back as a little token, but I thought it'd be more fun to put these into my journal because I know he was just like me in the thought that, oh, I can't use these stickers because then they'll be used. I have to save them. But, save them for what? This is what stickers are meant to be used for, so I thought I am going to use them. So I had a lot of fun with the bright colors of these. I added in some washi to bring out the colors, and then this was a magazine cutout, and since Monday was my laundry day, I thought that would be a fun little thing to include. And on the writing side, I used this sticker as sort of a prompt to write about work and how client work is doing. Uh-oh, we might have a guest. Hang on. Here, let me grab you real quick. Hello! Hi, baby. You're so silly. What? What is it? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't have any more cheese up here though. We ate it all. Hi. Good girl. Well, that is a little spoiler of what's to come in here. We'll get to that pretty soon, actually. Okay. I was writing about client work versus my own personal projects, and then over here, I had just finished the book that I was showing off in the last video called You Can't Make This Stuff Up. It was sort of a textbook on writing creative nonfiction, so I wrote a bit about what takeaways I had from that book and how I felt about kind of its approach. And this month I've moved on to Writing Down the Bones by Natalie Goldberg, and I'm really enjoying this one. I think this one is going to be the winner between the two, but I've been enjoying reading more about creative nonfiction because I really haven't done anything with it since college, so we're jumping back into that, and maybe some of that'll show up in my journal as well. We've got quite a few pieces of random ephemera on this spread. A piece of tape from our takeout tacos, the tag from my new wallet, a magazine cutout, which was actually the inspiration for what I journaled about this day, and then just some random nachos that I had cut out from a grocery store ad. But I used this little cutout as a prompt to write about the trends that are going on right now. I'm not a very trendy person, believe me, but I thought it would be fun to look back on. I wrote about all the blind boxes that are big right now, all the girly pop music that I'm super into right now, some of the slang that's going around right now, and oh my gosh, how everything is marketed as AI anymore, and it's driving me up a wall. I could write a whole entry about that. I figured some of that would be fun to look back on someday when I'm flipping through my journals. Then we did a little bit of travel up to northern Indiana for a friend's wedding. We stayed with some family up there and went out for breakfast and stuff, and that's where these green drawings come from. I picked up a brochure from Essen House, which if you know anything about northern Indiana, you probably know Essen House. But that's where I got these little cutouts too. We went out for breakfast there. So I cut out the art from the brochure. I thought that was a fun little addition to the page. And this is another magazine trimming from that autumn article. And it talks about how living in the city, she never really has a proper fall anymore. So I did a little bit of journaling about that, how autumn feels less colorful, less festive than it did as a kid, and kind of what fall ends up being like around where we live. And then this whole page is all about the wedding. We had a lot of fun catching up with old friends. I have this magazine cut out of Audrey Hepburn as a bride just because I wanted to have some sort of little wedding thing to mark that page. Anyone who's been keeping up with these journal videos has heard our tales of woe of looking for dogs online, going to meet some, trying to adopt, and nothing's really worked out yet, but we found this sweet husky that we wanted to meet, so that's where I put that sticker in. And you'll see more about her in a minute. And then the 13th was Indigenous Peoples Day, and I had put together a reading list that I wanted to work through to observe, celebrate, learn more about various First Nations histories and experiences. So I have my little Kaya sticker from my American Girl sticker book in her modern powwow outfit. And then I just used some magazine clippings to write out the title for this. And then I listed out the books that I had picked up from the library and wanted to read. Like I said, I'm a bit behind on everything, so I haven't finished any of these yet, but those reviews will probably end up in here too once I finish those books. And here is the day that we brought our foster pup home. Her name is Rue, and we were enrolled in a foster to adopt program, and you'll see a lot of thoughts as we work through our first couple of weeks with her in here. But that day was so busy and crazy that this whole page is taken up by just the day's happenings and some of my thoughts about them. We had our second day with her. We watched K-pop Demon Hunters finally that night. Again, another crazy day, so I just wrote out the happenings from the day again. And I have this little blank spot. I'm thinking maybe I will add in my song ranking from the movie because, I mean, you all know this. What an incredible soundtrack. I've been listening to it pretty much nonstop, so I think that would be a good spot to just add in a little song ranking. We'll see if we get around to that. And then we're back to dog things. I've got the other side of the tag from the dog bed we were using, got some American Girl dog stickers in here, and a lot of these pages filled up pretty fast just because I was having lots of thoughts and feelings about it. We were very excited to bring her home, but it did take a few days for her to settle down a bit, understand what the routine is, for us to understand what her routine is. The shelter had listed her as a calming presence, and that was what we were hoping for when we were looking for a dog, was a dog who was just very chill, that we'd all mesh together and just kind of hang out around the house all day. This was not the dog we ended up with. We ended up with a very high energy, ready to play dog, which we had to get used to a little bit. So a lot of these pages became me thinking through what we were going to do at the end of our foster period, whether we were going to send her along to a new home or whether we were going to adopt her ourselves. And that was a tough decision. There was a lot of thinking about that. She was taking up so much time and attention that I really did not have the time to add in any extra journaling. I do eventually want to go in and fill in some of the extra space, but for right now, this is what life was like at that time. On this day, I had my sister over and we hung out a bit, but she also, she's learning to play saxophone, which is really fun. So she brought her saxophone over and I pulled out, this is a fun fact for you, I play trombone. I haven't picked it up in quite a few years now, but I pulled out my trombone and we were playing some duets, which was really fun. I didn't have any good stickers for saxophones or trombones, but I did have this little flute player with her music stand in my American Girl book, so I rolled with that. I figured that got the point across well enough for me. And then on this side, another little puppy on a leash. This American Girl book has been so helpful for just all of the random little life events, all sorts of different situations. I'm very pleased with having that because it lets me add in little relevant stickers for a lot of different things. This, oh my gosh, this page is just straight up not even done. Like I said, it was really busy. Life was really crazy around this time. So just getting my daily log on the page was about all I could do. I did cut this out from a cardboard box. I thought that would be good to stick in here because this is around the time that I was getting Halloween candy ready. And of course, We always have to buy a little bit extra so that we can nibble on it as well. So we ended up with quite a few Reese's around the house. Okay, let's glue this in. I will figure out what to put on the opposite page. I have like an arbitrary personal goal that I want to have like some sort of decoration on every page, just because that's been part of what motivates me to come back to my journal, is having something pretty. For many years, I didn't have any sort of ephemera in my journals, but probably like a couple years ago, I started adding in stickers and trash and ephemera, and it's been really fun. I really like that. So I'm sure that won't last forever, but for right now, I do, especially since I got the Hobonichi Cousin specifically to make some nice fancy spreads, I figured I want to make sure that I do that while I'm in this book. Yeah, not much more to say about that page, so I will scooch along. Puppy life was still quite busy, so didn't get a whole lot of extra journaling in here, but we did get a stake for her so that she can, hang out outside, stand there without us having to be actively holding the leash. So I pulled some little bits off of that packaging, and that was as far as I got for decorating that day. I took one of my washi tapes that kind of matched that, and that's, sometimes that's all the decorating you can do. Here we go. Oh, I never added in. We went to Dunkin' this morning, just, a regular going out and getting some breakfast. So this is the sticker that they had put on the drink to stick the receipt on. I thought it was so cute. I pulled that off and stuck that on the page. And then I had this like diner style guest check receipt that my intent was that I would write our order from that day on here. Clearly didn't get around to that, but at some point I want to do that. And I love how it ended up looking, and I also love how it made it so I didn't have more writing space to fill in. And I was able to match the blue from this with the blue on the packaging from the steak that we got. So I ended up cutting that out, sticking that to the page. And on this page, I had made chocolate chip cookies, so I pulled this from a dessert cookbook and cut those out. And then this is from the label on a can of cream that we had gotten for our recipe. I think it'll be fun, especially if we ever, we go through phases with different recipes, and if we ever stop making this, I feel like seeing that little label again will bring back lots of memories. So that's something I want to do more with the canned food that we use, because there's always some sort of paper wrapper on that. Didn't really get anything going on this page. I'll have to figure out what to fill that space with. Oh, I didn't even point out, this was the end of our foster period. So I was writing out my thoughts again. We, for a long time, were thinking, this is the sweetest dog, but we just cannot keep up with her energy. She needs to find another home, unfortunately. But toward the end of our time, we really felt like we were starting to understand her needs. She was understanding our needs, and she truly is. She is the sweetest dog I've ever met. So this is me documenting that we decided to take the chance and go ahead and adopt her. So Miss Rue is our baby now, and now that she's officially living with us, we are looking into changing her name to Zelda. So right now she is Miss Zelda Rue, and things are going so much better than they were at the beginning. We're still figuring each other out, figuring out what kind of accommodations we can make for her and her boundless energy. But yeah, there's our special announcement. We have a new family member around here. And with that, immediately after that decision, we had to start getting ready for guests to come stay with us. We had some friends visiting, so I used just this little magazine cutout of some cleaning gloves because I was doing a lot of house prep. I'll have to add in some sort of writing in there eventually, but I am not too stressed about that right now. And then we've got a Halloween spread. I loved these little Beanie Baby stickers. They were so thematically appropriate. So I knew I wanted this little ghost. I love him so much. And so I filled out the rest of the spread with more Halloween colors, Halloween critters. And because of, I messed up my regular format on here, so I ended up just doing a single column over here. So my like daily log only got to about there-ish. So I filled up the rest of the space talking about a video we had watched that night and all the things that I found interesting about that, just to fill up some of that space. And then I ended up kind of running out of time on this page too. So more space to fill in. There were a lot of blank spaces this month, but I'm trying to give myself grace because, you know, life happens. I do want to keep writing and at least fill out this book before I figure out if I go with a bit smaller of a journaling commitment next year. But for right now, we are moving on into November. And I do have several of these pages filled out just because I'm a little behind in filming, but that's okay. We'll figure it out. I don't really have this cover page decorated much outside of just my little Winnie the Pooh illustration that I've made kind of a tradition on these pages now. I'm not sure what else I could put in here. I could put like this fantasy tape in here. That actually looks pretty good. Let me cut off some of that. What else do we put in here? I'm not really sure because the October one was easy enough because I had Halloween decorations. And the December page is easy enough because I have all sorts of Christmassy stuff. But what else really goes with November? I have my Thanksgiving all planned out because I've got my little Beanie Baby turkey sticker in here, but I don't really think I have any other things that would super fit with November specifically. Ooh, that could be like a nice little food spread. Let's see what colors would look best. I feel like that kind of gives Thanksgiving vibes. Let's see, we get this like picnic sticker. I'm not sure which one would go better with the colors. I think I'm gonna go with this little pie spread. Where do we want to put that? Maybe down here? That's kind of fun. Okay. That definitely needs more color though. Maybe a little of this. I really don't have a plan. I'm just kind of sticking colors down where it feels right. That's nice. It does, I feel like it needs something else up here. Maybe, I think I have a Beanie Baby squirrel. He could match that pretty well. Here, let's put some of this stuff back. Let's see. We've got, I think the squirrel is what we're gonna go with. Let's see. Oh, he's so cute. He's so cute. Okay. Do I like this now that I've got all the brown on here? Let's see. I also have this. I could bring some of the green in more naturally. Just a little swatch of that. For now, at least, it is already much more decorated than it was when we got here. So I believe that brings us to the end of our October review, and I will have to come back and give you an update once November is filled up. So with that, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Flipping through some pages, hopefully you got some of your own journaling done as well. I love having this space where we can just inspire each other and chat about our journaling habits. I don't know, it really helps me keep going, seeing all of you share your stories, share your journals. So I'll be back then next month with hopefully a not too delayed video of what I'm working on right now. I love you guys so much. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I'll see you next time.